The following is a special presentation of Extreme eSpeed TV, your new home for everything iRacing and eSpeed.
We are back at New Hampshire, getting ready to do battle. It's going to be 90 laps tonight, so welcome back. I was just talking to my good friend John Hine in Discord. As he'll be joining me here tonight. We were talking about the track here at New Hampshire and how flat this track is. John, welcome back to the show. Thank you for welcoming me back. Thanks for hanging out with me. Looking forward to another great night. We did have a mix-up at in the point standings. Troy Radford, as you know, John, for the last 2 weeks has brought that car home in P1. He has moved up, took over the lead. Brian Littleton drops down to P2, and Steve Baker, who has finished P2 the last 2 weeks, is up to P4. So, John, welcome to the Vaportrail 90. We got a 90-lap feature race here. Happy Sunday. Welcome back. What are we looking for?
Well, good evening. Glad to be back. And we are on a flat 1 mile oval here up in New Hampshire. And I tell you, this one's going to be tricky because we've had a lot of banking, you know, with Dover and tracks like that. But this one here is going to be completely different. I think it's going to present a different challenge to these guys. They're going to have to keep their tires under them. They're going to have to be careful and patient because these corners are so long. You pick the throttle up too early, you can create all kinds of problems for yourself.
Yeah, totally different track. I've been watching these guys practice since, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes or so ago. We have cars out on the track getting ready to take some qualifying laps. We're following along with the 30 car of Bobby Hetrick to see how Bobby times in. We'll actually switch over to the timing tower. Looks like Osbon in the 88 is in P1 with a 30.42 for Osbon in the 88. 94 of Radford. John, you and I talked. Radford was able to take over the lead in that Spartan number 94 car. He's out on track.
Yeah, and he's really stepped his game up here with a couple of wins here. But, you know, he's got once again, he's up at the top with Osbon next to him. That really puts pressure on Brian Littleton, who's a little bit down the pylon as of right now. He's going to have to find an answer these last 2 weeks, or this is going to be Troy Radford's championship.
Yes, sir. Light Electric Company qualifying. They're battling it out for the Linda Haney Memorial Pole Award. That, as John alluded to, currently belongs to the 94 car with a 30.9 or 38. We're following along with Littleton in that 80 car, and he is good enough for 10th quick so far. Brandon Medford's out on track in the 83 Spartan ride.
I'm going to be real excited to see how they run this race here tonight because, you know, this is the one thing that I do like about asphalt racing is you go to different tracks and they're not all, you know, the same track. You've got different challenges which can play to different guys' strengths. And, you know, you can have a great week one week and be in the tank the next or vice versa. And, you know, looking at the speed sheet here with guys like Roy Hyde, Dustin Ping, it's been a while since we've seen them up front here, but they're towards the front right now.
John, I got to tell you, as a guest coming in, we're following along with the 55 car of Steve Baker, currently 5th quick. I got to tell you, as a guest coming in, man, I am super surprised and pleased at the quality of driving in the NextGen series. These guys, as you and I talked off broadcast, they take this very serious. What a great show, man. I was not sure what to expect when I started filling in, but man, what a pleasant surprise. These guys are actually, they're professionals, man. They care about what they do. They're not wrecking each other It has just been amazing. So thank you very much, John, for taking this journey with me. This is my first journey into the hard surface racing, and I got to tell you, it couldn't have come with a better league for sure.
Yeah, and the league really starts at the top. Steve Baker has done a fantastic job with his league. Jag Drennan, who is their statistician, race control, and everything else. They run a quality league, and they've got quality drivers. And when you get quality drivers together with a well-run league, and man, this is what you get. I've been very fortunate to be a part of a couple leagues where I feel like the same structure's in place, and man, it turns iRacing into a whole different experience, and it becomes a lot more fun. It may be a little more difficult to dominate or win, but you know what? Anybody out there that's watching, that they should consider if they're a solid driver. Don't have to be the fastest driver in the world, but just a solid driver that doesn't cause problems on the track. I'd venture out to say check these guys out and see if they'll have you.
Yeah, I would not hesitate, not even a second, to recommend this league to those out there. So looking at the Linda Haney Memorial Pole Award, looks like Radford in that 94 car, John, with a 30.38 at the top of the board, followed by Osbon in our favorite car, the 00 of Hyde in P3. The number one car, Ping, comes home P5. Baker's going to start a little bit further back in Ping is in 4. Baker's going to start a little bit farther back, John, in P5. I think he's been on outside pole the last 2 weeks, so he's got a little bit of work to do. Littleton in that 80 car, I might be bad luck for him, John. He's currently timed in at P14. He's second in the points to Troy Radford. Those two are separated by 9 points. So Radford was able to take over the lead last week. And, man, Littleton has struggled in the last 3 weeks, so he might be happy to see me go.
Yeah, he's picked a bad time to have a little bit of a slump here, but he can turn it around here today. I know that he's timed in at P14. I think that just goes to the difficulty of this track and trying to bust out that quick lap. But the one thing I've seen from Brian this season is once he gets in a rhythm, he's very consistent. And this is a track that will reward that, just being consistent around the track, being patient. And that really does fit his driving styles. Now, take away the banking, that might go a little bit out of his wheelhouse, but or it may not, but it just he's looking up the pylon there at Troy up there on the pole position right now, and he knows he's going to have to step it up here and pick some spots up and start working his way almost from the get-go. Not too many laps here tonight. A little bit shorter of a race than we're accustomed to, so he's going to have to make quick work of the guys in front of them.
Yeah, as the drivers are getting final instructions on how this is all going to go down tonight. Again, as John mentioned earlier, if you're interested in a great league and you qualify, check these guys out. You can probably find any information on NextGen. Probably, John, what do you think? Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook. I would even look them up here in iRacing. So yeah, just check them out, and eventually actually and give the broadcast a like and a share and everything else, and keep tuning in. But yeah, I know 2 races left, not a whole lot left in the season, but I know next season will be here before you know it.
Yeah, and again, as a dirt guy, I highly recommend. What I have seen has been absolutely amazing. So out there, welcome to Extreme eSpeed TV Network. Again, we are on on YouTube. If you like what we have going on, please hit the like, leave us comments, let us know what you think. Welcome back. This is week 25, so you guys will wrap up the season next week, John, and champion will be crowned. So we're getting right down to it here.
Yeah, we really are. And, with one race left here, what you do here can, if you're fighting for points, but, maybe not just first, but if you're trying to fight for 5th or get into the top 10, you got to make this work. You're running out of chances to gain on whoever's in front of you, or you've got an opportunity to lose whoever's behind you. So, the pressure's on for all these guys. I mean, everybody's racing for something, maybe a personal goal or whatever the case might be. And there also is a win out there. I know all these guys would like to pick up another victory before the end of the season. And this track, though, like I said, it's going to present challenges here. You can push the right front tire off here real easy with no banking. Overdriving the corner is really, really going to wreak havoc on that front tire. And I was out there with them during their practice. I did their last pit party with them and started out pretty good, had good pace, but so not surprising as a dirt guy, I was overdriving the corners, and it didn't take long before I was almost having to stop the car to turn it in the corner to get it around. And man, I'm telling you, that just killed the lap. So, and these guys are a lot better, a lot smarter than me. But they still probably got to be careful with it.
Yeah, I was watching, like I said, for the past, hour, and they were all the way off the throttle, as we saw 2 weeks ago. They were getting all the way off the throttle once those tires wear out. Super slick track. So, John, it looks like we're getting ready for the Vaportrail 90. We'll go through the lineup. Troy Radford wins the Linda Haney Memorial Pole Award in that 94 machine. He will have Dell Osbon to his outside. Roy Hyde starts on the inside of row number 2. Dustin Ping on row number 2. Steve Baker, Brandon Medford in row number 3. Nathan Bishop, Tyler Hilton in row number 4. Hunter Tate, Jimmy Hetrick in row number 5. Brian Miskell, Matt Meekin in row number 6. Chris Spencer, Brian Littleton in row number 7. Bobby Hetrick, Chris Mefford in row number 8. Ray Radford, Matt Kopp in row number 9. And Mike Massengale will round out the field of 19 drivers tonight, John.
Yeah, another solid field for these guys. And, this is going to be a quick one, only 90 laps. We're used to going 100 plus laps. I know Dover, 1 mile track last week. What did we do? 150 laps or whatever it was that we did last week. And so these guys are going to have to be quick. And Joe, I know you thought you've been bad luck for Brian, but overall as a series, you've done 2 races. You've yet to see a caution. So I have to add that into the storylines. Will we get a caution today? Yeah. It's kind of wild to be asking that or even wondering that, but it's been a while since we've seen one.
Cautions are not authorized at this point, so we're not going to allow that to happen tonight. We're going to get through these 90 laps, and I can't wait. We're going to see what happens. That may be wishful thinking, but man, these guys have just been on point. Again, your top 5 in the points. Troy Radford, followed by Brian Littleton. Travis Smith in P3, followed by Steve Baker. Chris Spencer is in the top 5, followed by Chris Mefford. Brian Miskell Jr., Roy Hyde, Nathan Bishop, Brandon Mefford. Round out your top 10. This is the NextGen Racing League. Again, as we mentioned earlier, check them out. I'm not real certain what it takes to qualify, but I got to tell you, watching the last 3 weeks, if you can get in and you like this type of NASCAR racing, you got to be here. This is absolutely amazing. So, John, we're starting to pace here.
Yeah, and another thing to take note of is you mentioned 9th place in the points, Travis Smith. He's not in the field here tonight, so I don't know if that's going to open. I don't know what the difference between he and Baker are, but that may open an opportunity for Baker to move up another spot in the points.
So typically the 94 car is on the pole. Once again, that's Radford, your points leader. That 55 car of Steve Baker will roll off on the inside of row number 3. John, your and my favorite car. Of course, we'll get a close look at it right here. The 00 of Roy Hyde will roll off on the inside of row number 2. Green flag is out. We are underway here at New Hampshire. Looks like Radford gets out to a lead. Not so quick. Osbon is going to try to get on the outside. We're 2 by 2, the front 2 rows. John, they're not wasting any time. They're trying to get to that lead before this goes single file. Up front, Osborne now pulls in front of that 94 car.
Yeah, it does it on the outside here. Is able to hold that 94 down and not let the 94 kind of swing out and get, you know, momentum down the straightaways. Osborne is able to use that and take the lead here and is going to stretch it out. And now he can just settle in and get in a rhythm.
Looks like we did almost get nose to tail. I see one car back there. I'm not sure which one it is. Looks like that is the... Yep, Mescal. The 33 car is side by side.
He's got Nathan Bishop to his outside there, and Tate's up in front of him here. So Chris Spencer's behind him. So Mescal is kind of trapped there on the bottom. I don't know that you want to be down there because that's where you can really abuse that right front tire. You've got to put a lot of wheel into the car to keep it held down, not to drift up. These guys up on the top side, they're not having to drive in as hard or work as hard to get those cars to rotate.
Yeah, he, like you said, he's just stuck on that inside. There's, they are going by on that outside. He got a little bit loose on the exit there, John.
Yeah, and that's just from getting in the gas maybe a little bit too early. Not too early, but just too quickly, should I say. If you get in the gas too early, it's more likely to push the nose out. But if you get into it too quickly, that's when the back gets out.
It looks like he is the only car that is 2x2 all throughout the field.
Yeah,
so
he's got
I
a
would
little hole here to get in line.
And he will. So we are nose to tail throughout the field. Dale Osborne in that 88 machine is pulling away from Troy Radford. John, we talked to Troy Radford.
We're going to have a caution. We were just looking at him.
I am not seeing a caution. Now my SDK doesn't even acknowledge cautions.
Huh.
There it is.
Well,
Mescal Jr.
Yep, he got some help there coming out of turn 4.
We will take a look. By the time I got him, he's running backwards. That's
Oh, he went backwards almost all the way down the front straightaway. I don't know if there's an award here, but yeah, he was doing a good Joey Chitwood part addition there.
When I tuned in, that's like let's see what happens here.
The 41 of Mac McKeegan makes just slight contact coming out of turn 4 and got him around. And man, that almost caught Brian Littleton up. Brian Littleton did a good job of missing that. But then if you stay on Mescal, I mean, I'm impressed how straight he kept that car going backwards.
Yeah, the 41 of McKeegan, he thought about drafting off the nose of that 33, actually. He goes around, so that is our first caution in 3 weeks, and it happens to be the 33 car.
There you go. But, yeah, like I said, I'm impressed all the way down that straightaway. Man, if I'd have done that, I'd have hit both walls at least once.
He's keeping it straight as could be.
He is. Like I said, that's a pretty good Joey Chitwood audition tape he could send out.
Up front, Dale Osborne still leading the show. Troy Radford in P2 in that 94 machine. So we won't talk about cautions anymore. There we go. We broke the caution deal. So that's over. Now let's get down to some racing.
Yeah, and race control did deem Matt McKeegan at fault for that, so he'll be given an EOL and he dropped to the back of the pack here. But I don't think anybody, we didn't have anybody go to pit road or anything, take tires or much anything, at least not amongst the leaders. I think I saw a couple of cars dive in, but not too many takers to pit road.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Flat track. We do only have 90 laps. Did you get any time to run on this track this week, John? And if so, what is the pit strategy? What are you thinking?
Well, I think that you're going to want fuel before tires, and it's just I gotta think be a thing of a management game. You know, who looks after them the best, and I think just like we've seen in weeks past, the guys that can stretch them a little bit, I think might find that to be extremely beneficial, especially if we get a caution and they get everybody a lap down. Because if you do go to the pits, you will lose a lap here easily. So I think we'll see pit strategy all over the board.
So Dale Osborne will choose the outside with Radford on his inside. Baker is able to move up to P3. And the one car of Dustin Pink. So we are getting ready to go back to green. Green flag is out. 88 car with a good start. I would think Troy Radford's going to be looking for that top side as quickly as possible. Baker lets him in. Now the next car is the 83 of Mefford that is trying to get back in line. He will make it up to the top. The 27 car of Nathan Bishop is kind of stuck down low, John.
Yeah, this is almost like Bristol, or not Bristol, but the paperclip there, Martinsville in reverse. Martinsville, if you start on the outside, you're trying to get down so you don't get freight trained. Well, here you're on the bottom, trying to move up into that middle lane so you don't get freight trained.
Yeah, super flat track. Now Chris Mefford in the 46. He's went down on the inside on his own. He's trying to get by the 30 car. He does move up side by side with the 27 of Nathan Bishop. He falls back in line. Up front, 88 car pulling away from Mefford. Let's go on board with the 94 car for a lap around New Hampshire.
You see he's taking a little bit lower of the line, a little shallower entry than what Osmond is, but then he closes up there, but then Osmond, you'll be able to use the momentum because he's able to pick the throttle up earlier, starts to separate a little bit down the straightaways from the 94 Troy Radford. But I know we can't see it, but in Radford's mirror, I know he started back, I think, 5th or 6th. You got that 55 car has found his way up here into the top 3.
We are looking back from that bumper that you just mentioned. There is the 55 of Steve Baker. So he has moved up to P3. Since I have been a part of this, those two have been nose to tail or side by side the entire time. That's the 94 car of Troy Radford, the 55 of Steve Baker. Up front, the 88 of Dale Osborne. Whoa, looks like Radford got a little bit loose there, John, coming off a turn 4, I think it was.
Yeah, and as these tires wear, you know, they're not gonna be able to jump back in the throttle as quick as what they were early in the run here. So those guys are gonna have to adjust what they're doing with that throttle pedal. So with both pedals, actually, with the brake pedal as you get into the corners, because you're not gonna have the grip to turn the car, and then you know with the throttle getting out of the corners, you're not gonna have the grip to get the power down. So these guys are gonna be really adjusting what they do constantly through their runs.
Looks like we do have some going 2x2. So we have a few cars trying to work towards the front. That's Littleton with the 4 car of Mike Massengale. He dives down low, trying to get underneath that 30 car. Can't make any headway there. He falls back in line on the outside, right in front of the 41 machine. That's the Navy ride of Matt McKeegan. Other than that, we are nose to tail. I see someone up front. John, we got a couple cars stuck out of line. That is the 27 car of Nathan Bishop. He's trying to get by the 02 of Tyler Hilton.
Yeah, and I'm not really surprised now that we're starting to see 2 wide. Yes, they did. See 2 wide racing now because some guys probably didn't look after their tires as good as others, and that means they're having to woe up a little bit more in the corners. So the guys that have looked after the tires, this is where they can make some ground up. They'll come up through the field. Because one thing I learned for the little stint that I did with these guys out there, you, like I said earlier, you almost feel like you got to stop the car to turn it. And if you push that right front off enough and you have to do that, oh my gosh, it absolutely just kills your lap times.
We're watching Spencer and Tate battle it out. So, John, it was kind of like a slide job and a crossover, but different, if that makes any sense.
Does to me, but I'm used to slide jobs and then if getting slid and crossing over. But yeah, great driving by these two, and boy, they are battling and scraping hard.
That slide job and crossover took maybe a half a lap, so a little bit different, a little bit slower, managing tires on asphalt where not so much on dirt. Looks like we do have some cars in the back that are trying to work their way towards the front. 41 of McKeegan is back there. Somebody dove out of line. Let's see if we can find out who that is. It's none other than that 80 car. He makes a pass on the 27 of Nathan Bishop. So move the 80 car up to P10. He's up 4 from his start. Your biggest mover is that 46 car. He's up 9 from the start. So he, one of two things. He is pushing it extra hard, or he has found a line that agrees with his driving style.
It could be a little bit of both, but he doesn't seem to be falling off, though. So I would have to say he's just gotten into a really good rhythm and has settled in and hitting his marks every time. Because if that's one thing, you know, you don't have to attack the track to go fast. I know a lot of people think that they've got to do that. But you know what? Just concentrating and hitting your marks and being smooth and consistent, you'll get faster doing that more so than you will, okay, I'm going to try to drive it a little deeper next corner, or oh, I'm going to pick the throttle up a little earlier next time through here. Just hitting your marks and being consistent, I tell you, that'll make you get faster quicker than any other way that I know.
There are your top 5. Looks like the 94 car blinking a little bit there, John. The 1 car of Dustin Ping is bringing along the 83 of Mefford, Brandon Mefford in that 83. Then it's a little ways back to the 00, who has Chris Mefford with him in that 46 machine. 46 machine up 9 positions from the start. He is your biggest mover currently. We'll check back on Littleton in that 80 car. He's currently running P10.
Yeah, we got a battle for the lead, and I'll tell you, the 94 is blinking, and as close as these guys are running, if he blinks and moves, there could be a wreck in the front here.
Yeah, as you and I both know,
they were close.
As you and I both know, can be super distracting. Yes. I do hear some chatter on race control about that, so we'll see how that plays out. Let's see if Steve Baker goes with the 94 as he has the last 2 weeks. Is Dale Osborne, are the tires starting to become an issue? I think we're about to find that out.
Yeah, and for those of you watching that aren't on iRacing, what that's like for a driver when you got somebody that's blinking like that in and out, it's worrisome, because if you get too close to them and they blink out, you don't know where they're at, so you don't know if you gas it up, you could be in them, and when they come back, when they blink back in, I've had times where they've actually blinked back in my car and we both wreck, not knowing where they are, and boy, that blinking's getting worse too, so well, we are definitely going to have to keep an eye on that, and I don't know if race control will make a call on that or not.
The 55 car of Steve Baker, he follows that 94. He gets by the 88 of Osborne. Now it looks like Brandon Mefford in the 83. He's getting a little impatient. He looks like he's going to get ready to make a move on the 1 car of Dustin Ping. You can see these cars not holding the bottom. Now the 1's starting to blink. Not holding the bottom as good as they once did. So this will fit some driver's style and some it will not. It is the 80 car of Littleton now, John. He's starting to move back up. He's up 5 from his starting position. Just gets by the 8 car of Hunter Tate. So he's setting sail a little bit here.
Yeah, and we touched on this in the pre-race too, that he's a rhythm, I watch him. He's very, very consistent in what he does. And I'm not too surprised here that he's starting to make up ground, especially after there's some tire fall off. He's just plugging away, and this is what he always seems to do up until these last couple of weeks. Run that, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and then towards the end, he's solidly in the top 5. He just looks after his equipment so well and is there at the end of these things.
Yeah, the 80 car moving up, again up 5. Next in line is Chris Spencer in that 11 machine. We'll go on board with the 80 car, John, and see how he gets through the corners. You can hear him off the throttle at entry. 11 car goes up a little higher than the 80, kind of diamonding that corner, cuts back down.
Yeah, the 11 overdrove it just a little bit there. He might be looking in his mirror to see where that 80 is. And, if you start mirror watching a little bit, that can get you off your game a little bit. But, I mean, in these cars, you almost have to do it. You got to know where that guy is.
They are way off the throttle. We're on board with that 80 car. Second place driver, Brian Littleton. You can hear him off the throttle, rolling the middle, exits low.
Yeah, and he's a quarter of a way down the straightaway before he's even back in full throttle. When we're in the car here, you can hear he's just meeting the gas at maybe about 25, maybe 40%. Now he's back in it, and he's still not all the way, and now he's all the way back in it. So he's real smooth about picking the throttle up. He's real patient through the corner, letting that car roll and rotate. He's doing an outstanding job here.
Chris Mefford just pulled up alongside Dustin Ping there. That was a close call as the 46 car dove in. Looks like he's sliding up a little bit. The 1 car might give him some room. It doesn't get any closer, and there was no room. Around goes the 46, gets into the 1 car.
Yeah, I think he got into the throttle, pushed a little bit, and just not a room to push like that with the 1 right on his outside there. Tough break for the 46.
Kind of saw that coming.
I have to believe pit road is about to get busy here. The way these guys are already pedaling through the corner. They're already a third of the way through. So, I mean, if you divide the race up, which that seems to be what a lot of these guys do, this would be right in that first pit stop window.
Looks like you had 2 cars going for the same spot on the track. Yep. The 1 car kind of came down a little bit, but when the tires are wore like this, John, you're washing up. You're going up.
Yep.
So 46
and when you're on the bottom like that, you're trying to get a better run out of the corner than the guy the outside. And the way to do that is pick the throttle up earlier. And when you do that with kind of worn tires, that's where the nose starts to want to drift out to the wall. And I kind of almost think that's a little bit of a racing deal, but we'll see what the admins decide on it.
Pit lane is a busy place as everybody is on pit lane. Looks like Baker will get out in front of everybody. Steve Baker followed by the 94 of Radford. So Baker makes big headway on that pit stop. Not sure what the strategy was.
You can make up a little bit of time without getting a speeding penalty. If I don't know, if you're about two, maybe 3 pit stalls away, goose the gas just a little bit to get a little bit more out of it, or even brake a little bit later getting into your pit stall. That's where you can make up a little bit of time, and whatever he did, it sure worked.
It did, John. That puts him on the point here. So we'll have to see. Got a couple of issues that I see. We got brand new tires, so we're good there. The 94 car blinking a little bit, and it seems to continue. I'm not listening to race control myself, John. I don't know if you are. What they
I'm not.
might do about that, it looks like Baker will select the outside, so that can be a little distracting, as you said. Sometimes that blinking car ends up in your lap, and you don't know. You're not sure what to do.
Yeah, and who that's going to be the most distracting, because Baker can just look out his windshield and hit his marks. It's the 83 and the 88 that are in that second row. They've got to worry if he blinks out where he's at and where he's going to come back at.
So Baker, Radford, Osborne, Mefford, and Spencer are your top 5. Pace truck heads to pit road. We're looking for that green flag for the 55. He is off. Great jump by Steve Baker. 94 car of Radford is down low, but the 88, John, he was quick on new tires. Let's see if that continues. 94 car battling back on that low side. Roy Hyde stuck down on the bottom, as is that 80 car of Brian Littleton.
Yeah, and what I just saw Littleton do, I think, is really, really smart. He could have probably fought and hung around down on the bottom for a while, but he saw an opening behind him, so he lifted and let the 27 just kind of roll by. He got up on the outside. All that is just to take care of his tires, and we saw the ground he was making up towards the end of that run, so smart driving by the 80.
Yeah, we got a close-up on the Ford machine, John. As you know, our great friends at Mission 22 are on board that Ford machine. I thought I saw that, so I had to take a great look at Mike Massengale in that Ford machine with Mission 22 on board, doing great things for disabled veterans. So that's awesome to see. Up front,
Yes,
Steve Baker leading Dale Osborne. Osborne pulls up into P2. Radford falls back to P3 in that 94. Looks like got a little wiggle out of the 83 on corner exit. The 00 of Roy Hyde. He's stuck on the inside, but I don't know if he's stuck. It looks like he's going forward.
Yeah, I think he's just getting into his rhythm here, and give it a few laps, and I'll bet you he'll start picking off maybe a couple more guys.
The 4 car dove down low, I think, to get out of the way. John kind of made a hard left there, caught it out of the corner of my eye, so now he's on the inside, as is this 00 machine. Boy, that's close. Up front, Baker with a over half-second gap between himself, the 88 of Osborne, Radford, Mefford in the 83, Chris Spencer are your top 5.
And there's a heck of a battle back between Nathan Bishop, Littleton, and Chris Mefford, who was in that last caution. Mefford, once again, is on the bottom. He picked a 2-for-1 up there in turns 3 and 4.
So by the looks of that car, John, do they have quick repairs? Do you know?
No, they don't.
That car's not in bad shape for going down a full straightaway backwards.
No, that was Mescal that did that.
Oh, it was. You're right. My apologies. On the inside, the 46 car.
And now he's got the grip to be aggressive like what he was wanting to be. Now the big question is how long is he going to do that? Because I can tell you, he's using those tires up here to make these moves. But, later in this run, that nose is going to want to go out towards that wall again.
Well, we're getting close to halfway. The 4 car back there, that's the red car fighting back. He's still on the inside. That's Mike Massengale battling out with the 02 of Tyler Hilton. Got the 1 car behind him. Looks like the 46 found that outside line. He will fall in line. No, he won't. He's going for another one. So he's using that grip while he has it, John.
He sure is, and I'm going to be interested to see what his pace is like, let's say around lap 55, 60. Oh, he's that back end was dancing on that corner entry.
We got to go on board and see what this looks like. I bet he is super busy inside that cockpit.
Yeah, I'm sure he's using a lot of brake on the corner entry.
Looks like they are side by side, Mefford and
There's your slide job.
gets up in front of the 11 car of Chris Spencer, so move the 46 up. John, he's up 11 positions from the start, so he is moving towards the front. That caution.
Yeah, he went all the way. As I say, he went all the way down to that apron and slid right up in front of the 48 there, or not that 48, but the 11 there. Nice move.
Looks like that 80 car of Littleton, he's starting to work that bottom side also. He's working past the 27 car. Littleton currently second in the points. Looks like we have reached the halfway point, John.
Another caution. Looks like maybe the 22 of Matt Kopp.
Yeah, I have no idea why my SDK isn't showing cautions, but that's okay. We'll make do.
Yeah, contact.
22.
Yep, over in turn 4, contact with the 41 of Matt McKeegan. McKeegan looked like he may have overdrove the corner a little bit and washed up into the 22. And right there in the dead center of the corner, it doesn't take a whole lot to get a car around. And actually, there might have even been a little bit of net code there at play. I believe so. Maybe, hopefully. Yeah, and Mike Bassengill was the only car to take pits there. And I was thinking, I was towards the back, I'd be getting tires. If for no other reason, maybe at least give me a spot or two at the start. But it looks like the race director has deemed Matt McKeegan at fault for that last incident, and he will once again drop to the back of the field here for this restart.
Looks like the one car of Dustin Ping must have been given a wave around as you saw him go by Steve Baker and the rest of the field. 55 of Baker, Osborne, Radford, Mefford, and Mefford. Brandon Mefford in P4. Chris Mefford in P number 5. We saw Chris make some aggressive moves, and he has made it work, John. So this caution may have came out just in time for him to cool off those tires a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's going to be starting on the bottom, and that's where it's been making, where he's been making it work. So I've got to feel like he's probably in the lane he wants to be in too, for this restart.
Brian Littleton, he has cracked the top 10. He's up 5 from his start. He will start in P9 on the inside of Bishop, I think.
Yeah, and while he has moved up, the 94 of Radford has moved back. I mean, albeit back to third, but the gap, points wise between the two guys has shrunk a little bit.
Yeah, 9-point gap between the points lead and second place, the 80 car of Brian Littleton.
The big thing is now Littleton can see him now, and then that, a dog chasing the carrot. You got something to chase out there. You that might get you an extra half a tenth, a lap.
Oh, sure. You can see where they're running. You have the opportunity to run where they aren't running. So yeah, that makes a whole different deal. Steve Baker still at the point. Osborne, Radford, Mefford, and Mefford are your top 5. Working lap. Can't remember what lap we're on. We're over halfway.
We'll start lap 51. We'll start lap 51 here on this restart.
So we're running out of time real quick here.
Yes, sir.
Did you do a full fuel run, John, by chance?
No, I did not. And it wouldn't have mattered. These guys have, I think, 80%, I believe, or whatever it is. And I would have been on a full fuel run. So, and like I said, even at that, I don't think that a full fuel run, I don't think the tires will last a full fuel run. I mean, they'll last, but you'll be way off the pace, I think.
Looks like that 46 car, he's going to try that bottom again, trying to get underneath Chris Spencer. We saw him get by Spencer earlier. Now Spencer might return the favor as Spencer moves up into the top 5. As that 46 gets in super hot, slides up, stays off of the... Go ahead, John.
I say, and they get away with it.
They did indeed. The 83 car is trying to get by that 88 of Dale Osborne for that second position. The 94 car of Troy Radford is the first car out of a podium finish. The 46 continues.
Oh no, our second points just got turned.
Brian Littleton, let's take a look. He's got the 27 and the 48.
Yeah, had some help from the 48, about middle of the corner. He just rolled through a little bit better and got him around.
48 washed up a little bit there, so had a little bit more steam than second place, the 80 car of Littleton.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, Littleton took a fairly big shot to the front of that car when the 4 came around and had nowhere to go. So he's got a significant amount of damage to the nose of that car.
Yeah, he definitely did not need that. This is we only have 1 week to go after this, John. So the 80 car has to be hoping for a great. I think we close out at Florida. Help me out. Where do we close out at?
Yep, up, down, and Homestead.
Homestead. There you go. So next week we'll settle it all, and he is still not out of the running coming into the night. 9 points separated the 94 of Radford and the 80 car of Littleton. Up front, the 55 of Baker took over the lead and has not looked back since doing so. Brandon Mefford in the 83 is in P2. Dale Osborne in P3. Troy Radford in P4. And Chris Mefford in P5. John, you think... so I'm certain that the Radford is aware of what's going on behind him. I'm certain. I don't know if they have spotters or people that are talking to him. If you know that your next inline competition, do you back off and be a little conservative, or it doesn't change a thing? A racer is a racer.
Well, I think somewhere in between. You don't necessarily back off because once you get, if you're in a rhythm and you back off, you could actually get yourself in trouble. But you know what? The risk and reward calculation, now that's what changes. Okay, am I going to stick my nose in here and put myself in a bad spot? Or, oh gosh, this guy's behind me, he's faster. Am I going to make him put us in a bad spot to get around us? That's where all of a sudden you got to make a decision. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to stick my nose in there. Or, okay, this guy's faster than me. Let's not take any high risks here, and I'll let this guy go.
That's if they're communicating. So I would assume.
Well, he doesn't necessarily have to communicate that. He can. I mean, he's the one with the wheel and his foot. He can lift a little bit, and let the guy roll on by, or he can choose not to turn that car down and put it, in a precarious position here. So that's not necessarily something you got to communicate, but you definitely got to be thinking about it, though. You don't want to be too conservative, and like I said, get yourself out of rhythm and end up, causing yourself an issue. But you definitely don't want to be forcing issues to create a bad situation either.
So Steve Baker back to the point. They are side 2 by 2. 6 rows back. That 46 of Mefford, he kind of washed up into that middle lane there. So I don't know if that tire wear, or is he just trying to get to that outside in front of the 8 car. 88 car now stuck below the 11 car of Chris Spencer. So you got the Mefford gang down low in that 83 and the 46.
Yeah, and I'm sure those two are communicating together, and one's saying, hey, I found this here, and the other one's probably reacting to it and saying, okay, let me try it.
Made a little bit of contact with the 11, did the 46 of Chris Mefford.
Yeah, he's been really overdriving into the corners and washing up. The guys that have been to his outside have given him room to do so. But as we get to the end here, that give and takes kind of go away a little, I'd have to believe.
We are on board with that 46. He drives in super deep. The 11 car... He falls in line, so the 46 makes the pass.
And I will say this about the 80, who we just saw in that wreck and get that damage. He came in and fixed the damage, but he took some new tires. So he's got about almost 25 lap newer tires. And I'm going to tell you, I watched that start. He picked up 4 places like almost in a lap and a half. So he is slicing and dicing his way back up.
I'm watching right here. I'm seeing some pretty loose race cars around Roy Hyde, Hunter Tate, the 02 of Hilton. As the 00, he catches it. He slides up, catches it. 08 lets him go. Let's take a look at the 80 car of Littleton. He's got a banged up race car, but new tires probably make you feel like Superman out here when everybody else is on older tires.
But he's also got to be patient here because he's probably rolling through the corners better, finding himself rolling the corners much better than everybody else, probably even getting a little better drive off. So you don't want to be impatient here and, like I said, put yourself in a precarious position, but you do want to get these passes done quickly while you have that advantage.
Looks like they pull away as is expected on the straightaway, and he closes back in the corners. Is exactly what we expect to see. Up front, Steve Baker in that 55, still leading. Troy Radford now in that 94 is able to move into P4. Looks like the blinking has settled down a little bit. Brandon Mefford in P3. Chris Mefford in P4 in that 46 machine. Chris Spencer in that 11 car is under attack from the 88 of Dale Osbon. Osbon pulling to the inside. We'll watch that through this corner. As the 88 pulls side by side. He's got to be trying to get to that outside as soon as possible. I would think the scrub on the tires down low, John's got to be immense.
Yeah, I would imagine so at this point in the run. And he does a nice job completing the pass, does it cleanly. The 11 gave him space, you know, to do it. And again, we've touched on that at the top of the show. These guys do race each other extremely well. And you do see a lot of give and take throughout the field.
Yes, sir. Move the 88 into the top 5. Steve Baker at the front of the field. Radford. Now the 2 Mefford drivers are nose to tail here.
Yeah, I have to wonder what condition their tires are. And you see Medford is going way up the track here in the 83, while the other
Yikes,
Medford
that was close.
Yes. But they ran on the bottom for the first part of that run, and I just have to think that that's going to put them at a disadvantage here on the second part of this run.
They are pulling away from that 88, however, so a little bit of a gap. I'm waiting to see who that car is, John, that's been holding back but starts coming through the field. We have 25 laps to go. Looks like the 80 car making some moves. He's on the inside of that 27. They've been running nose to tail for a while. He'll move up to P12.
Well, I'll tell you, you asked the question who was holding back and probably is starting to go. I'd have to say it might be that 94 car. He had fallen back to as far back as 4th. It looked like he might have been in a little bit of trouble, but he has moved right back up and is now right on the bumper of Baker.
We've seen those two 1-2 for the last 2 weeks. So would not surprise me for those two to finish in that position that they're in now. Mefford, now the 46, Chris Mefford still diving down super low. Let's go on board, John, and take a look of what exactly he gets a. Oh, you can hear those tires.
Yeah. But I'll be honest here. I think the 55 is actually holding all 3 of these cars up at this point.
Did he just shift gears?
Yes, he did.
So he's using that gearbox to help. Huh. So there you have it. Chris Mefford using the gearbox to slow himself down. Maybe that helps. We're on board now with the 83.
And the other thing, too, is it's giving him a heck of a run off the corners, too.
On board with Brandon Mefford as he pulls right up to the rear bumper of that A94 machine. So a couple different strategies going on up front. 21 laps to go. I wonder who else is shifting now. That's kind of a different...
Yep, I've gone through, and I'm in Baker's car listening right now, but the 2 guys in front of him are not shifting. So far, the top 4, he's the only one. I'm actually surprised as slow as they're going in the middle of the corner, they aren't shifting. But, yeah, Baker's not shifting either.
Huh. Yeah, they're way down. I'm looking at the tack over there. I'm in the 94 car of Troy Radford, below $5,000 on the tack. So we'll see if that works for that 46 machine, John. He's the only one in the top 4 that is shifting, it sounds like. Dale Osbon now losing a little contact with your front runners. Meanwhile, they are a good gap between them and the 11 car of Chris Spencer. Hyde, Tate, Hilton, and Bobby Hetrick round out your top 10 with 19 laps to go.
Chris Medford just almost got the 3rd spot with a slide job. Man, these 2 are really going at it here. He tried that move again, what we saw earlier, where he went all the way to the apron and tried to slide up, but didn't quite get there this time.
He is running that 46 super hard, and it's working. He's up 12 from his starting position. So New Hampshire seems to agree with that 46 car, as Osborne is starting to pull back into the picture to get on that rear bumper. 17 to go. I would think that we definitely don't have green flag stops here. If a caution comes out, that will be interesting. I would think everyone would come, but maybe not.
That's a tough thing. I tell you, I wouldn't want to be the first guy left out there with old tires because you'd be a sitting duck.
The 80 car of Mefford has moved back into the top 10, running P10. Bishop in the 27 car behind him. The 30 car of Hetrick running on that high side. The 33 car of Mescal. And the 48 with a banged up rear spoiler.
Yeah, that happened early on in the race. He was one of those guys in that very first incident that came to pit road. And I noticed he had the damage on that corner. And so he's had it his whole race.
Brian Littleton last time by with a 32.58. Your leader's a 32.20.
Yeah, that damage that he sustained might have hurt the car a little bit, but I'm watching these guys and Joe, man, they are sliding. They have got their hands full. Those back ends and everything else out of the corners and corner entry. These cars are moving around a lot on the track.
Yes, they are, which every lap we go deeper into this, if a caution comes out, that makes that decision even, if you're running 20th, or 18th, do you stay out and hope you can hang on for a top 10? It gets, every lap we go, that decision gets even more complex.
Yeah, and you might be able to make a top 10. That is, if you don't get wrecked. You get around, you're the only guy out front there. Oh man, that'll be very, very tough. I'm not saying it can't be done. I think that's actually a pretty good strategy, but oh boy, you're taking a big risk.
Yeah. You're going to watch everybody go by. So every lap we get deeper into this, cars are starting to slide around. Tires becoming an issue. Fuel is not an issue, however. The 46 car of Mefford, currently in P4. Now Dale Osborne in that 88. Let's see if he has changed strategies.
I'm watching these guys go in. All of a sudden, I'm starting to think I'm watching a dirt race. These guys pitching them, getting the sideways there on corner entry.
Now the 88 is shifting, John. We're riding along with Dale Osborne. He shifted getting into 3 and 4.
I'm not surprised when we jumped in there and watched those other guys, and they're going about 4,000 on the tack, and they're even going slower now in the center. Yeah, it probably was just a matter of time before everybody else did that.
Let's check in with Steve Baker and see if he isn't doing the same, possibly. Boy, he is washing right out to that wall. He is not shifting.
He's also not stepping out as much as the other cars. You saw Osborne and Medford doing it, and those cars are dancing, but maybe there's a slight advantage to not shifting, just keeping the car under control.
Don't look now, John, but that 94 closed right up to the rear bumper of that 55 machine.
And Osmond and Medford back there just made contact. Osmond kind of washed up a little bit and kind of moved Medford over to take over that 4th spot.
That 88 car was coming there for the last few laps. It's a battle up front between the 55 and 94. The 88 of Dale Osborne up to P3 or 4. My apologies.
I was going to say, he better be moving it because I don't think the 46 appreciated that. The way he all of a sudden was starting to drive. I got a feeling if the 46 could have gotten back to his bumper, he might have tapped on it just to say, hey, I didn't appreciate that.
So these are the only two that we heard shifting gears, John, are the 88 and the 46. So this will be interesting. I would think I would want that lower torque with slick tires coming out of the corners, but it seems to be working for the 88 and 46.
Yeah, but getting that more torque, that means you got to be easier on the throttle, easier to spin the tires, easier to kick the back end out. So I think both strategies are actually good. I guess it just depends on your ability as a driver. I don't think I could get away with it. I think I'd wreck myself. But, boy, those two, 4th and 5th, are making it work.
They are. Yeah, if I'm out there, I'm not shifting.
Yeah.
I have my hands full as it is.
Exactly right. That's above my pay grade.
But they're making it work. That's the 88 and the 46 of Dale Osborne and Chris Mefford running in Ps 4 and 5. Chris Mefford in the 46 is your biggest mover of the night, up 11 positions from his start. We'll check in with Brian Littleton in that Ada machine. He's off the pace, John.
He is, and he's off the track now. I wonder if he ran out of gas. His car is silent.
He may have just got in there to get the quickest repairs he could get. Will he be able to roll all the way to pit road? It looks like he will.
What a costly thing. Now he's a lap down, and boy, thank God for that road course on the inside, because he's able to chop off the entire 3 and 4, but he's still got a ways to go to his pit stall.
So, second place in the points. That may open the door for Travis Smith, who is not here. So, Steve Baker, if he stays up front. Four laps to go.
Spencer's off and just came to a stop there in 3 and 4. I think there was contact with him and Hunter Tate there.
The caution did come out, John. Looks like the 8 car just closed in and made contact with that 11.
Yeah, I wonder if the 11, the way they closed, I'm going to have to go in and listen to the 11. I almost wonder if the 11 didn't just run out of fuel.
We're on board with the 11. I didn't hear it run out of fuel.
No, I didn't either.
He was off that throttle a long time.
Oh, boy.
So the 11 car we're getting down there. 3 laps to go. Who's going to duck in for tires? You got the 55 car Baker, Troy Radford in P2. Everyone coming for tires.
I think that has a lot to do with if you're the last one out, you're going to be a sitting duck. But I'm actually surprised somebody maybe towards the back, 15, 16, 17, somewhere back there, that are on the lead lap didn't stay out just to see if they could snag a top 10. Like I said, a heck of a risk not to get run over, because you heard how much they were slowing down in the corners. So that's a big difference, speed-wise, and pretty easy to get run over. I mean, they were almost going 2 seconds a lap slower than what they qualified with fresh tires.
That 88 got out super quick. So, I wonder what the 88 did different.
2 tires?
Maybe. But he takes over the lead. Steve Baker falls back to P3, followed by Radford. Brandon Mefford in the 83. The 46 comes off the pit road in 5th. Roy Hyde in P6. Looks like the 27 car of Nathan Bishop in 7th. Hunter Tate in 8th. Dustin Ping in 9th. Tyler Hilton.
I was going to say, Joe, I can confirm the 88 took 2 only. Took right sides only.
So this is going to be interesting. 3 laps to go.
I think so. His car did not jack up on the left side, so only the right side went up, and then as soon as that right side dropped, he went off. So, yeah, he only took 2.
That is interesting. That is way above my pay grade, right?
Yeah.
So this will be interesting.
He's only got to hold on. He's only got to hold on for green-white checkered here, so he's going to be able to choose the line. He's going to probably be able to try to hold that 55 down to the bottom so the 55 can't swing out and, get the power down, because the better he can hold them down, the better shot he's going to have on that top side. But boy, oh boy, this is going to be fun to watch. Buckle up.
So it will be Dale Osborne. He selects the outside. He'll have Steve Baker on his inside. Troy Radford, Brandon Mefford on row 2. Troy Radford, Chris Mefford in row number 3. So we do have 3 laps to get this done. This is the Vaportrail 90 at New Hampshire. Brought to you by Extreme eSpeed TV Network. If you like what we got going on, please hit that like button. Let us know. Greatly appreciate everybody who tunes in every week. This is the Blackhawk Motorsports Restart Zone.
Real quick before we go, Brian Littleton has taken his car behind the wall. Just a devastating night for the man who sits second into the points coming in.
Osborne, Baker on that front row. John, this is going to be interesting. You got Mefford on the outside and Radford. So the 2 cars.
Baker has a horrible start.
Holy smokes. The 88 breaks away from the field. Brandon Mefford, he goes with the 88 car. That 55 on the inside. Finishes the shuffle in P3. That 46
I'm
car.
watching Radford's not pushing the issue with anybody, so he's definitely being conservative here.
Doing a little bit of points racing. Don't blame him one bit.
1 to go.
Up front, 88 car, but that 46 car, now the 55. Baker and Mefford were battling it out. 55 of Baker tries to go up high. That position is blocked by that 83. Can Steve Baker get it done on the inside? With the 4 new tires, they're under a blanket. We're coming to the checkered flag. 88, 83, 55, they make contact. 88 into the inside wall. We got a big mess. Osborne, Baker, and Hyde ends up in on your podium. Boy, that was something else.
At a loss for words.
Yeah, well,
wow.
John, did you think it's you had 2 tires, you had a couple cars on 4 tires, so it kind of held up the field. We got to go back and take a look at that. That was something else. What an exciting finish.
Yeah, and you can see the 83 right before contact starts to kind of break loose just a little bit. And I think when he does so, it moved him down the track, and 55 got into him. So actually, I think that's a racing deal. And I'm going to tell you, the 46, someone should alert NASA because he went up, he got launched.
That was an exciting exit. I tried to go back and watch, but they are out of the server. So we'll get a word with your top three. That's Dale Osbond, Steve Baker, and Roy Hyde. John, as soon as they get up in the booth, if you want to grab 1 and 3, I'll get word with Steve Baker once they get up in the booth here.
How about that finish, though? Man,
That was
oh man, oh
amazing.
man.
I was jumping out of my seat. And so I got to thank Roy Hyde, being a military guy. That 00 had to finish in the top 3 to send me off, as this will be it for me in the booth. Travis will be back next week for the finale. So, man, what a great ride. These guys are absolutely amazing, John. And I can't thank you enough for the support that you've given me. Kind of new to me, and I really enjoyed the last 3 weeks. A whole different deal, man. So I thank you for that.
Man, I tell you what, the pleasure has been all mine. I've enjoyed having you up here. It's been so much fun. We made up for the lack of cautions tonight, but that last lap, what a way to bring your little time here to an end. I don't know that they could have done any better for you. That was a edge of your seat kind of finish there.
Yeah, I wish I would have got it. I don't know why. Maybe I can capture it. Maybe we'll watch that as we go to the end here.
Some really hard racing between those guys, and honestly, it looked like maybe the 83 maybe got back in the gas a little too quick. The back end came out. He kind of moved down the track slightly, which he didn't have room to do because the 55 was right on him. And yeah, just a tough racing deal, but fun for us to watch, that's for sure. But hey, we got everybody in the room here, and we'll have to
All
have
right,
a
John,
talk.
let's bring in Roy Hyde.
Hey, Roy, this is John. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, my friend, you gave that thing a good ride here tonight. You got home on the podium with, in exciting fashion, might I add. Walk me through that second run after you guys got tires and everything. Walk me through how hard you were saving tires, or did the tires kind of plateau at a certain point?
I didn't save a lot of tires. I just kind of went for it from the beginning, which is not the norm. I normally try to save tires, and it never worked out in the end. So I tried something different at night, and it seemed to work. But yeah, you'd get to one point, and I don't know if the tires were wearing, but your lap times weren't that much different, and you'd be able to change a line a little bit and maintain pretty close to a steady lap time, and just maintain what I had. And a couple of guys that looked like they were running a little bit harder, and I started running them down.
Well, then you guys get a late caution. Everybody comes in and gets tires. What was your mindset then once you took the green there for the green white checkered?
Thank God I didn't take tires earlier, because I kind of was planning on something like this happening after the beginning of the race. But it was starting on the outside, so that's the preferred line, and it just gives you that much more room where you can slide it around the corner if you need to, and just push it hard and pray for the best at that point.
Well, I tell you, personally, I think you got the best paint scheme in the league. I love that paint scheme. It was really cool to see it up front. Who would you like to give a shout out to for your podium here?
I always give a shout out to the wife, and she lets me do all this crazy stuff at night. And parents, I think they watch sometimes too. You guys up in the booth doing the broadcast have been doing putting on a pretty good show, and the admin team, for especially the hectic season we've had, they've kind of held everything together and made it run as smooth as possible. Jags for points, and yeah, just Dirty Air Race and all those guys, we seem to work together and give each other feedback. It's a pretty good thing.
Well, congratulations, Rory. Good to see you. Real quick, the last question I'm going to have for you next week is Homestead. Give me your thoughts on Homestead real quick.
I love the track. I'm not sure how fast we'll be, but gonna love the track.
Hey, that's always good for an extra half a tenth when you love the track. So good luck next week, and hopefully we'll talk to you again. That's Roy Hyde, our third place finisher tonight. Next, we will go to the 55 of Steve Baker. Joe, I think you've caught up with him.
Steve, this is Joe. You got me?
I got you.
Man, that was absolutely, that is my finale, and you guys sent me off in grand fashion. The 55 has finished the last 3 weeks in P2. So, man, I think I'm your good luck charm. Walk us through that last lap. That turned into a melee out there. What happened on that last lap?
Yeah, Brandon and I were on 4 fresh tires. KD took 2, and we were just trying to get everything we could get the last lap, last corner. Um, Brandon came into the waiting room there and said he was trying to get a run on KD and didn't know I was there, and I kind of didn't know he was making that move, so we just kind of got into each other. I'm glad he still ended up, with the top 5, because that was a heck of a battle there in the last lap, just going for it, and KD for holding us off with only 2 tires.
Yeah, man, you came into the night 4th in the points. The 3rd place driver didn't show. Littleton ran into some problems. So going into Homestead, man, you might be right in the mix. It has been a pleasure watching that 55 car run around. How are you looking forward to Homestead, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Homestead. It's a good track, a lot of grooves to run in. But like you've seen over the last few weeks, this group of guys just has a pretty close field overall. So it's tough to win against these guys. And yeah, I'm tired of finishing second.
It's been an amazing 3 weeks. This is my first journey into the hard surface, man. So you guys put on a heck of a show. I could not have asked for any more. Congratulations on your 3rd podium on my final 3rd night. So, man, who do you want to thank for your podium finish?
Yeah, same as always, man. Just you guys for coming out and doing the show, the drivers for showing up and giving us a full field of cars. 25 weeks into a season, we got one more left, and love to see as many cars as we can get next week at Homestead to wrap it up. For a New Hampshire race, it was pretty good. Congrats again to KD, and thanks to Jess and Jags for all the help that they give throughout the week and during the race. And yeah, like I said, one more to go. Hope to wrap it up with a great week with another good race. And hate you won't be there for the finale, but we've appreciated you having here in the booth.
Yeah, man, I got to tell you, this is a top-notch organization, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And thank you, you and John, for welcoming me in, man. But congratulations on your 3rd podium, and I wish you the best of luck next week. I'll tune in for sure because I can't miss it now. So we'll see how that plays out. So congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes, sir. There's Steve Baker, ladies and gentlemen, in the 55 car with his 3rd podium in a row. John, have you caught up to that 88 machine?
I have. Dale, this is John. You got a copy?
Yep, I've got you.
Well, bud, this is your 2nd win of the season. The last one came all the way back in May in Kansas, so it's been a little while here. Man, I tell you, the race-winning decision to take 2 tires. What was your thought process into making that? And then tell me about holding those guys off for those last couple of laps.
Oh, I knew taking 2 was my only shot at it. I had a bunch of really quick guys in front of me, and there was no shot I was going to win unless they had a big issue. So I decided to just chance it, take 2. I'm not in the hunt for a championship or anything, so that was a pretty easy decision. Yeah, then holding those guys off just on 2 tires was pretty brutal. It was really good on the first lap. It turned nice, but then coming on that last lap, out of that last turn, it would not go. And if Steve and Brandon didn't get together there at the end, I think it would have been a really close finish. But yeah, it was pretty crazy trying to hold everyone off there.
Well, I've got to ask, I don't know if you looked or not, but did you look and see what your tire wear was like on those left sides after the race?
At the pit stop, they were at like 96, so probably not too bad on the lefts. The rights were pretty dead though on that last stop.
Wow, that 96 probably would have made that an easy decision to take 2 there, and it paid off for you. And I tell you, did you look up in your mirror coming down the front straightaway and see the chaos behind you?
Oh yeah, I was watching my mirror all through turn 3 and 4. My eyes weren't even on the track; they were just watching Brandon and Steve back there, trying to see where they were going to go to see if I had to throw a block or anything. But yeah, my eyes were just glued to that mirror.
Well, you escaped the chaos, brought her home, had a nice drive tonight. Like I said, your second win of the season here. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Big shout out to my sponsor, Conrad Group Insurance Agency. Thinking of my teammates that were out here tonight. Thank you to all the admins for putting this on. You guys in the broadcast booth. Everyone who shows up to this race. Cool thing, I thought today was gonna be my dad's birthday. He passed away just about 6 years ago now, so this race is probably for him.
Well, that is awesome that you get to do that. Sorry for your loss. And real quick, last question I'm going to have for you. Homestead's next week. Will you be with us? And what are your thoughts on Homestead?
Oh yeah, I'll be there, Homestead. That's another Linda Haney Memorial race, so I'm gonna try and go out there and get that one done. You know, I'm pretty good at Homestead, I think, so it's still gonna be a really tough competition, but I think I've got a really good shot at it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you can bring home your third victory of the season next week at Homestead. That is Dale Osmond, tonight's winner at New Hampshire.
All right, John, that is a wrap for week 25. You got one more week to go. Man, what an amazing night. Even the cautions were exciting when that happens. And, man, what a great show. That 88 car drive with the 2 tires at the end. We saw different pit strategies. We saw, man, it was just a great ride for the past 3 weeks. Give me your final thoughts on tonight and what you're looking forward to next week.
Well, I think next week, the 94 Troy Radford's in the driver's seat, obviously. He just needs to have a solid night, make all the laps, finish top 10, I think, and I believe he'll be home free at that point. But tough night on the other end of that to our second place. Brian Littleton didn't make the race, make it through the race. It ended early for him, and you know what? Anything can happen at Homestead, though. This is a track that you move around a lot on. It's wide. You got opportunities to pass. So I expect a very exciting race next season when everything is on the line here, and I can't wait to be here and watch it.
Yeah, man. Again, thank you for welcoming me in. Watch that 55 car. This is my parting shot. Watch that 55 car with the 80 car and Travis Smith not showing up tonight. Steve Baker with a P2. I'm kind of interested to see where he shakes out in the points, and will he be close enough to Troy Radford to strike next week at Homestead? So I'll be tuning in as a spectator next week, John. Thank you so much for having me. Ladies and gentlemen, that is week 25 at New Hampshire. Again, greatly appreciate everyone tuning in. This is Extreme eSpeed TV Network. If you like what we got going on, please hit the like button. If you don't, please leave us some feedback so that we can make sure we correct those issues. So, John, for tonight, that's it, my brother. I wish you a great week. And, man, I'll be tuning in to listen to you next week.
Yeah, I very well enjoyed having you with, and thank you so much for stepping in. And hopefully we get to do this again at some point. I got a feeling we cross each other's paths enough. I won't be a bit surprised if we don't get to do this again.
Yeah, I'm sure we will, man. Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week, again, this is Extreme eSpeed TV Network, and we will be back with you at Homestead for the NextGen series. We'll be back with the Coast to Coast Racing League here at Extreme eSpeed TV Network. So greatly appreciate everyone tuning in, and we will see you next time.
This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of the Extreme eSpeed TV Network is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast.
Hi, Messi.
This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended